Kenpachi Zaraki has long since been one of my favorite anime characters of all time, and I'd be hard pressed to find any other character that will come to his level unless you can find someone who can match the sheer utter bloodlust that this character has. Like I've said multiple times in my chapter reviews, I am very, very fond of characters who are really battle hungry, and Zaraki Kenpachi is one of the prime examples of those like battle hungry characters that I love so much. In fact, I think Kenpachi is probably one of the first battle hungry characters I like really fell in love with. My anime journey started with the big three, like the classic big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. It was definitely Naruto to start off. It took me a while to get into One Piece, but after I got into One Piece, I finally was like, okay, I'll check out all of the big three. Let me check out Bleach. Hey guys, so somehow I recorded the rest of this video on two different inputs, so the audio is a little bit reverby. I did use the AI tool to try and like vamp it up a bit, but the finished product isn't as good as I'd want it to be. But I like doing my videos with passion and off the cuff. I didn't want to re-record, so here is the rest of it.
And yeah, that first fight with Kenpachi versus Ichigo just made me fall in love completely with the character. I mean, even from the first, like, kind of appearance of him, it wasn't even him himself. It was just a spiritual pressure causing everyone to feel real pressed. Like, Ichigo was running and he felt like he was running on sand. There was other character with him, I can't remember his name. He just, like, fell over. Like, Kenpachi had some conqueror's haki going on or something. And really thinking about it, I feel like Kenpachi is like one of his first, like to be so bloodthirsty in just one battle. Although I haven't seen all of like old school anime, I've seen a lot of anime, but maybe there was a couple characters before Kenpachi that was completely just about fighting. For me, like he was one of the first like proper bloodlust, I just want to fight for the sake of fighting kind of characters. Like even thinking about Dragon Ball, because I'm pretty sure I watched Dragon Ball Z before I watched Bleach. But you could kind of say Goku's kind of battle hungry, but not to the extent that Kenpachi is. Like he feels elated when he's fighting. I'm sure Goku like really feels like great when he's fighting, but I don't know. I think for Goku, it's more about improving and getting better. For Kenpachi, it's not about getting better. It's about just loving the thrill of the actual fight. And I don't know, perhaps maybe Kenpachi was based off like the Saiyans having like a battle kind of culture, as he does kind of have the spiky hair like the Saiyans do as well. And that's another thing about Kenpachi. He just has a badass design. And even his design plays into his love of being battle hungry. The spikes on his head, the bells, so that his opponent can hear him. He's given himself handicaps. I've never seen a character like that who's actually coming into battle, giving himself handicaps in order just to enjoy the battle for longer. Like, I'm getting a bit further ahead into where I want to go in the video, but him versus Unohana, she was discussing about how, I learned Kido so I could heal and enjoy my battles longer. But Kenpachi, he learned how to suppress himself in order to keep his battles going longer. Like, this man is crazy. He's on another level with it when it comes to the love of the battle. And I feel like battle-hungry characters are so fun to me because they're probably so fun to the mangaka to write as well, because you don't have to think too deep into their, like, psyche. I mean, you can do if you want a more complex character, but you can always easily just put in a character that just loves to fight or is just really strong. No apparent reason, but just to have a nice, cool fight in your manga. Like, the main character could do all the, like, in-depth psychological, like, breakdowns of characters and character development. But now you just have Kenpachi here. He has a little bit of character development, but his main thing is, I like to fight. I'm a threat when it comes to fighting. And when I'm on panel, it's going to be a pretty sick fight happening. And it usually always is. In my opinion, all of Kenpachi's fights are pretty, like, damn hardcore, except for the last one in the manga where he got his Bankai, because, you know, all of the manga was a bit rushed at the end of Bleach. But yeah, I can't complain with Kenpachi. Like, he served his purpose well in the manga. But now going back to chronologically, his fight with Ichigo, I was so upset when he admitted defeat in that fight, even though he technically didn't lose. Ichigo fell first. So in my head, when he was like, you won, I was like, no, Kenpachi, shut up. You won. You're the greatest. You should be the main character. Like, literally, I was so upset when he said that Ichigo won. Like, I didn't want the main character to win. And that's not usually how it goes. But I saw Kenpachi. I was like, this guy is cool. This guy's got something about him. He's got the aura. He's just getting slashed up. When at the start of the fight, he lets Ichigo take a swing at him, and Ichigo can't even cut him. Like, he's just showing off the most ultimate disrespect. I mean, the guy didn't even have a Shikai, but somehow rose to the level of captain. And everyone thought that his normal sword was his Shikai. And when he finally got a Shikai, it was at the end of the series. And he's taken on like the claim to be most powerful Sternritter. And Gremmy could have been the most powerful Sternritter if he was just like smarter about his ability. Like this guy's a Sternritter that's so dumb. If you know about, I think it was Sternritter Sigma, he created a Sternritter that can regenerate organs. So if regenerate, like not just organs, anything. So eventually each part of that Sternritter got cut off. And so it wasn't a part of Gremmy's imagination. Like he cut off a finger and the finger regrew. So that finger that regrew wasn't a part of Gremmy's imagination. Eventually all of his parts became like new thing because of his ability. So Gremmy created a whole new being that he can control anymore. Like that's the idiocy of Gremmy. But yeah, with his power, he could have been like one of the strongest Sternritter, and Kenpachi took him out easy, pretty much. He just opened up the Shikai. He sliced the meteor. And oh yeah, whilst I was talking about his character design and him limiting himself using his character design, his eye patch, he has an eye patch to seal his power. So like, I think that's another like reference to like going Super Saiyan, like, because I said he might have been inspired from the Saiyans. He takes off the eye patch, and that's him basically going Super Saiyan. One of the most badass scenes is him versus Neotora, I think his name was. And all this man had to do was use two hands on the sword. Like, I remember watching that scene, and I was thinking, okay, he learned Kendo? What kind of new technique is Kenpachi gonna bring out? And then he's like, you don't know the power of using multiple hands. I was like, okay, he's gonna use two hands, but he's gonna do like some cool, like some kind of cool maneuver, smooth something. Nah, bro, just a normal swing down, two hands, boom, fight's over. Oh my God. Like, it's just fun to write. Like I said, it doesn't have to be too complex. The manga can just be simple with it. Kubo was probably having a field day. He was just like, you know what, I know Kenpachi needs a new technique. What should it be? You know, just make him use two hands. He always swings with one hand, actually. I wonder if he always planned that. Because, yeah, Kenpachi was always swinging with one hand because he's kind of like a wild beast like that. He's just like, no technique, just swing it. Just swing and hope kind of thing. But not even hope, just swing and know it's gonna damage him. And speaking of, like, swinging him down, there's this one tiny scene. If I remember, I'll put a little, like, clip of it in the corner or something. There's this one little scene when he was first fighting Ichigo, and he swings down, and Ichigo blocks, but it actually creates a crater underneath Ichigo. And I thought that was like a really cool, just like small, subtle way to show his intense amount of power. Like he's like digging Ichigo into the ground with a sword swing. And another part in that fight, this man disrespected Ichigo so hard. He just slowly poked his way through Ichigo's sword and just breaks his Shikai. And he actually does it against Neotora as well. He's like clashing with Neotora, and like he just pushes his sword up and just slices through it. So he's making a habit of just like destroying people's weapons. I think he probably broke Unohana's weapon whilst he was fighting her as well. And now let's go into his Zanpakuto. The fact his Zanpakuto wasn't Shikai all this time and he was still a captain, insane. We were talking about he was the first person to be a captain without a Bankai. Turns out before Shikai as well. So, yeah, this guy's just crazy. And like his Zanpakuto is all beaten and stuff. It's, I think the name for it, Nozarashi, I think it means weather beaten. And yeah, it's got like all these jagged edges and stuff, but it still slices smooth like butter, bro. And so, yeah, he's actually at odds with his sword, causing it to like look all weird and morph and deformed. I wonder now that that he knows its name and probably training with it a little bit more, if like the blade's more smooth now, and what if he's even more powerful because of that, because now he has a synergy with his sword. He's fighting against his sword. That's even making him weaker. Like, this guy's so incredibly powerful. Like, he has so many limitations on himself. That was probably another mental limitation he put on himself, like just being at odds with his sword just so he wouldn't be too powerful. It turns out like Yachiru was actually the Zanpakuto spirit, basically. So I'm wondering if because he named Yachiru, that wasn't the sword's name, is another like reason they were so at odds as well. He's like considering the sword as a completely different entity. It makes another psychological thing. And it's weird how Yuichiro was actually able to be seen by everyone at first. I'm thinking that because Kenpachi's spiritual pressure was so great, he actually gave form to his Zanpakuto spirit somehow. And the Zanpakuto had its own Zanpakuto. It's crazy. This guy's just a crazy anomaly. I'm wondering, like, what even, because he was insanely strong at birth. It seems like finding Unohana at a really young age. Like, how old is Kenpachi? Like a couple centuries old? I wonder if his if he never like sealed his power, if he would be even stronger, or was he just born at like max strength, like from the start, and like he can't get any possibly stronger. Actually, his Bankai is like breaking up his body and stuff, or like we saw at the end of the manga. So he can probably get stronger with his Bankai. He'd actually be a beast. He's actually deserving of the title Kenpachi, because Kenpachi is supposed to be the strongest Soul Reaper at the time. And to be honest, Kenpachi Zaraki probably was throughout the time, because he almost beat Unohana. But because he sealed his power, he wasn't really Kenpachi. And when Unohana like finally decided it's time to hand over the title, she got him back to his original state and gave over the title. So technically, his name was Kenpachi Zaraki, but he wasn't the Kenpachi technically. Probably Unohana was still the Kenpachi, but now he's officially the Kenpachi, and he deserves it. Now, there's another cool thing that Kenpachi's done, and that is taken on 2 captains. And he did this after he fought Ichigo, and I'm pretty sure Ichigo could not take on Tozen and Sanji. Like, when Tozen did his Bankai, what do you think Ichigo could have done against him? I don't think Ichigo had the battle experience like Kenpachi did to be able to, like, dodge, like, just milliseconds before getting hit with a fatal injury. So I think it would have been GG's for Ichigo if he faced up against Tozen, because that Bankai is actually pretty, like, dangerous. I guess maybe Ichigo could have done, like, a circular Getsuke Tensho, just area of effect, just to try and attack him. Maybe that could have worked or something like that. But even still, I don't think he's taken on both 2 captains. And respectfully, Sajin, his Bankai isn't all that great. He just makes a big armored mech kind of thing. You just make a bigger target. I'm pretty sure there was like a filler fight between Kenpachi and Tozen, and I feel like he said something like that. You just made a bigger target for yourself, and he just like sliced him. I can't remember. I looked over like all Kenpachi's canon fights before I made this video, but I didn't really look at the filler fights. I feel like there's a filler fight between Kenpachi and Sanjin, but I can't remember. But yeah, during that fight, even Tozen knew about Kenpachi's bloodlust. He was like, you are going to be a problem for the Serite if we let you run loose. And to be honest, why is everyone thinking Kenpachi's going to be a problem, bro? Just give him some strong opponents to fight. He's not going to try and be an overlord ruler or anything like that. Everyone's so scared of Kenpachi, bro. He's just trying to fight. Let the man fight. And I just wanted to say one more, like, this is the last thing I have in my notes about Kenpachi up against Noitora. This guy just caught a Zero and threw it away like it was nothing. I didn't even remember him doing that. And I looked back at the fight, and he caught Noitora Zero and just threw it away. I thought Zero was this huge thing, like, it is the most powerful hollow attack, but he treated it like nothing. So yeah, Kenpachi has insane durability, although he does get sliced up a lot. I feel like he just like reduces his spiritual pressure a little bit sometimes just so he can get sliced. I mean, even in the fight against Ichigo sliced him right in the face. I remember seeing that. I'm like, this guy is tough. This guy is badass. What? You're getting sliced in the face and you're smiling and laughing through it. He's an insane guy. Like, I think he likes it. He's a bit of a masochist probably as well. He might like the pain, but yeah, who am I to judge? It's Kenpachi. And to end off, I just want to say that Kenpachi loves to fight. And I've called her a battle demon in the thumbnail, but he never truly had a battle against anyone in the series until he went up against Unohana for the last time. Because he even said it himself. This is what he's been searching for. This is true battle. And all the things he's done before were just fights. He loved fighting. But what he really wanted was a battle. Because for it to be a battle, you need to both parties need to be able to fight to their utmost limits, to their maximum output. And technically, Kenpachi had never been doing that throughout his entire tenure in the Bleach series until against Unohana, because he always had those mental blocks. And he didn't know his Zanpakuto's name, and he wasn't synergized with his Zanpakuto. But until Unohana released those chains, that's when, for the first time in a long time, Kenpachi was able to use his full strength and enjoy the battle, because he probably somehow subconsciously knew that he's not really finding his true strength. That's why he's looking for someone strong to fight, because he knows, like, deep down, like, the stronger an opponent he faces, the more he'll break through those, like, barriers. Not knowing it, like, consciously, but subconsciously, he knows, like, fighting greater opponents will make him stronger, but not really knowing the reason as to why. Because I believe anytime we see him, like, fight in the series, he is getting, like, close to beaten. Like, he is, like, getting, like, cut up a lot, like I said. I feel like that's just him just doing it on purpose. Like, Ichigo brought him close. I don't know if he brought him close to death, but brought him pretty down. And then he came back, fought the two captains. They didn't really do much to him. He fought against Nitora. And to be honest, he was bloodied, but I feel like he had it most of the fight. He was just enjoying himself. But yeah, that Ichigo fight that really pushed him to the limits was probably similar to what Unohana was doing for him, killing him and reviving him. But that fight against Ichigo that pushed him to the limit had the same effect. So it pushed him to the limit, and then he recovered from it, probably lost a little bit of a mental block, and that's how he was able to, like, boost up to the level of taking on two captains. Because how is he struggling to win against Ichigo, but then going on over and taking on two captains that I'm sure Ichigo would never, at his level at that time, would never have been able to beat, wouldn't have been able to beat those two captains, especially because how tricky Toten's abilities it is. Yeah, like Unohana even brought it up. Like, I was so happy when this was brought up. Why did you narrowly defeat? I think she said narrowly defeat Ichigo. Or she must have said something like the fight was close, because in my heart, Kenpachi won. Kenpachi might have said he lost, but he's just being a humble guy. And that's what's another great thing about him. He's actually just a humble guy. But I was so happy when she said that. Like, yeah, it don't make sense. Kenpachi's my guy. How is he almost losing to this scrub Ichigo? I know he's the main character, but he's a scrub compared to Kenpachi. And yeah, it's because of the mental blocks, man. He's really, really trying to enjoy those battles. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about Kenpachi. A bit different video on this channel. Yeah, like I said, I want to do more videos like this. This one was a bit all over the place. I kind of want a bit of a structure. I do have some notes, but I just started rambling. I got through all the stuff in my notes, but not in the order that I wanted to. But yeah, this was fun. Just a little ranty, chatty chat kind of video. But gonna have a live stream tomorrow. So for Undead Unluck, we're gonna rank the negation abilities. Which the negation abilities are better. It's just gonna be a simple. I'm not gonna try the weird concept like I did with my last tier list video. It was so long for me, that last tier list video. But yeah, tier list video, live stream tomorrow. Subscribe if you want to see that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.